This is the second part of the presentation of the fourth chapter of Awake Bride, 10 Toes and 10 Horns. Daniel chapter 7 will be the focus. My thanks to James Lloyd of Christian Media Network for the insight that the beasts were not the same kingdoms as the statue. The 4 metal kingdoms of the statue were those empires which persecuted the Hebrews until Christ's first coming. Their power in the world was destroyed by Christ's kingdom by the 5th century. But in the 7th century, the religion of Islam came into the world and began to grow in power and persecution of the saints, and it has become the 4th world power. Daniel 7:2-7. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove on the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand on the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld and see another, like a leopard, which had on the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. The 4 beast empires are those which persecute Jews prior to Christ's second coming. The Muslim terrorists began asserting themselves worldwide during the 1970s, and with their control of most of the oil production could dictate policy to their buyers. But it was Muslim victory on U.S. soil in 2001 which catapulted them into the status of world empire. We will look at each of these beasts and their persecution of the Jews. The winged lion represents England. In 1189 AD, at the coronation of Richard the Lionheart, unexpected persecution of the Jews broke out in England. Most Jewish houses in London were burned, and many Jews were killed. All possessions of the Jews were claimed by the crown. Richard's successor took more than 8 million marks from the Jews. England lost its American colonies, the eagle wings, in 1783. These wings to the wilderness provided protection for the Jews. George Washington wrote the Jews of Newport, Rhode Island, 1790, the following: All possess alike liberty of conscience and immunities of citizenship. For happily the government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens. May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the good will of the other inhabitants, while every one shall sit under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. Then the Russian bear came devouring much flesh. Between 1880 and 1919, 1/5 of all Jews left Russia because of pogroms. Between 1929 and 1953, the state created by Lenin and set in motion by Stalin deprived 21.5 million Soviet citizens of their lives. Dmitry Volkogonov. The Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, when Russia raised itself up on one side, leftist, was the same year Britain liberated Palestine. Many fled to Israel. In 1940, Russia forcibly occupied Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, possibly the 3 ribs in its mouth. In 1991, they regained their independence. Germany became an empire in 1871 and has had 4 main transformations of government: the German Empire, Weimar Republic, the Nazi Third Reich, and the current Federal Republic. Germany began its persecution of Jews in 1933 and killed 6 million Jews by the end of World War II. The 2 sets of wings, or air power, were provided by Japan and Italy. After Hitler's defeat, Berlin was controlled by 4 commanders. They were called the Allied Control Authority. The 4-power agreement on Berlin was signed September 3, 1971 by the Allied powers, the United States, Soviet Union, United Kingdom, and France. Daniel 7:19-24. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spoke very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom on earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So another blasphemous horn arises and takes out 3 of the 10 horns. The 10-horned monster is a Muslim conglomerate which has specifically persecuted Jews. A new leader arises who deposes 3 of the kings. Though the light-colored areas of the world may have less than a 10% Muslim population, as we have seen with the less than 2% gay population in America, a small militant group can accomplish large goals. The religionofpeace.com's website lists all the Muslim deadly attacks around the world. The following quote is from their site. More people are killed by Islamists each year than in all 350 years of the Spanish Inquisition combined. Revelation 13:1-2. And I stood on the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like to a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. The beast of the Great Tribulation is a combination of different aspects of the great world empires before it, as well as being resident within them. Islam is the 2nd largest religion in England, Germany, and Russia. Whereas Daniel sees the beast of the sea with 1 head and 10 horns, John sees it with 7 heads and 10 horns. Like Germany, I believe these 7 heads are periods of government or rule, which are covered in a later chapter. But it is the same beast with 10 horns which comes out of the sea in both cases. Both writers clearly state the 10 horns are 10 kings. Revelation 17:3 and 12-17. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit on a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have 1 mind, and shall give their power and strength to the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful. And he said to me, the waters which you saw, where the whore sits, are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Though at the time of John's writing these kings had not received their kingdom yet, they now have.